of, you know, starting a concert series or starting an ensemble, I had this idea for a concert, and then I realized we need a group for the concert. And then as I was going toward it, it changed from being, this is a project that you would do, to something where I was like, oh, actually artistically I believe in this thing that we came up with. And that was a major shift.
I was involved with the group, I think, from the very, very beginning. You know, I remember going to like early meetings and talking about like, what is this group? How do we, you know, figure out what we're doing with this?
I think calling it a band could be totally accurate because we approach rehearsal like that.
Part of why he wanted to have several of the other members sort of there for these meetings is to help sort of guide how the group was going to develop and figure out what it is going to be. And I think Wild Up is still in a process of evolution. I mean, I think that's a good thing. I think we always will be evolving, you know, but we started off playing in like sort of really obscure venues.
I think, I don't know, I mean, a word that's coming to mind right now is the word craft. That this is kind of like, there's always an attitude in Wild Up of like, here we are and here's this thing that we made. I think Wild Up has a very kind of homemade spirit to it, which I find very satisfying.
So our residency at the Hammer started in July and it goes through December. 6 months is quite a long time to explore. And Elizabeth Klein kind of aimed us there. She said, I want this to be an incubator for your identity and for you as an ensemble, and I want you to kind of explore who you are and explore how you interact with a museum like this or a space like this.
I always steal Chris's line, which is Wild Up is half classical music group, half indie rock band, half other.
What we're doing at the Hammer, we're playing about 6 large concerts. We're doing all sorts of chamber music, about 40 of those chamber musics. And there are some that are just one instrument, Baroque music, there's jazz, there's experimental music, there's spatial music. I mean, the things that have happened so far have been crazy, and it's been unbelievably varied. And all of these chamber concerts are the interests of the individual members. But then if you go further, what are we allowed to do that's extra musical and extra typically musical? Like this piece that we did that we titled For Lamont Young, like in a dedication for Lamont Young, where we launch all these ping pong balls and we're all singing. And there's this kind of big cathartic moment where we're holding these tubes and you don't know why we're holding them. And then we kind of open all of them up and we're looking at the audience singing this big perfect fifth very loudly. And then we kind of, you know, bend our knees and we do these kind of 3 kind of heaves, and then we launch all these ping pong balls that nobody knew was there. And I was interested in exploring what cadence looks like, and what, because we have cadence in music, of course, but what cadence feels like when it's not, you know, this chord to this chord, when it's what this feels like. Oh, there's a visual cadence, and then there's the aural cadence of all of the balls hitting the ground, and then there's the people laughing, which is part of, I could thought of that noise. Like I thought how people would react when this experience happened. And then there's all the people scrambling to pick up the balls, and then there's us. We started screaming, you know, it's loud, loud, loud singing, and then people react to that. And how this is actually musical, and it was considered musically, but it's not per se normal notated music. So the Hammer Museum has allowed us to explore that. I mean, explore that type of music making, which is so attractive.
It's like anything goes. It's very loose with the instrumentation, though I think the group maintains a kind of classical pose and an attention towards the classical community and an attention towards the classical repertoire and the lineage that we are a part of. I think that Wild Up is conscious of the fact that, and this is one of the things that we kind of like argue about and talk about a lot, how much are we beholden to the classical community?
So our last concert, the Hammer, focuses on the intersection of art and music. And it is really the main focus of our residency is answered by this kind of question: how do these intersect?